Hey there, Indiana. Good afternoon. My name is Scott Aaron Rogers, and I'm here with a special presentation of Who's Left. We are in lovely Connersville this afternoon, where congressional candidate William Kory Amyx is hosting a reverse town hall. We're going to be getting underway here shortly. We're waiting on a few more folks. Excuse me. Until that time, I'm going to keep you company here. I'm here in Connersville on this lovely Saturday afternoon for this reverse town hall hosted by candidate William Kory Amyx. Now, Kory is running for the 6th Congressional District, currently occupied by one Jefferson Shreve, easily richest man in Indiana in Congress, and also, I understand, the second richest congressman overall, with a net worth of somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 million. Now, I would say, with that money, with that sway, Jefferson Shreve could be doing good things. He could be. Yet, this is a guy who, despite carrying himself as some sort of moderate, some sort of philanthropist, has behind Donald Trump 100% of the time. And that's certainly disappointing to see. Shreve was a long-standing, member of the Bloomington community in good standing. Folks I know, good rock-ribbed Democrats, attest to his niceness and his skill in business. But yet, when things matter, when folks' food benefits are under threat, when folks' healthcare benefits are under threat, when there is a man in the White House who is credibly accused of all sorts of crimes against women and children, Jefferson Shreve lines up to protect him. So we've got a cadre of Democrats looking to replace the impotent Shreve. We are here in Connersville this afternoon, where one of them, Kory Amyx, is hosting this reverse town hall.
While we're waiting on Blythe,
turn this over to him.
I left flyer. There's some information there about me to what I card. The note card is for questions. If you might be shy, you don't want to stand up and ask a question, you can write it down and hold it up. Sheila will come by and pick it up and bring it up to me. I'll read it. Whether it's, and just put if it's a question for me or Blythe. Blythe Potter, who's running for Secretary of State, who we're waiting on, she texted me. She's crossing the railroad tracks, so she's like a minute away. Blythe is running for Secretary of State. I invited her to come. I invited Bo By to come as well. Bo didn't respond, so he must be busy. I invited my opponents also, Cindy Worth, Raymond Alt, and Alex Hardy. Unfortunately, they were not able to attend. So you'll have me and Blythe today. But feel free to ask questions. If you have something you want to have changed, you don't have to have a question. You just simply can talk about what it is you don't like, what you think might help change something. It's going to be an open forum, so I ask everybody to be respectful of each other, and we'll get started as soon as Blythe gets here. Does anybody have any questions for me so far? I will be hopefully doing one in Hancock County next month. I need to get with Linda actually to find out about the community center, see if I can rent that room. But my goal is to have one in Hancock County in December. In January, I want to do 2 in Rush and Shelby County. But I hope to hit, there's 11 counties in the 6th district. So I want to be able to have a reverse town hall in each county before April. That's my goal. So, yes. God willing, and the cake guys. There's always strange things like what happened with my original town hall that was canceled. That rise up and you just kind of work around it. Yep. Good question. And again, thank you guys for taking time out of your day. Here's Blythe. Um, Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know some of you guys drove a good distance to be here, and we really appreciate all of you guys being here. So pretty. All right, well, we'll get started. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name, oh, wait, you need me to back up, or are you good? So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is William Kory Amyx. Here in Connersville, most of you don't need the introduction. Some of you know me as Doyle's grandson. Some of you know me as Mary and Jim's boy. Most of you know me just as Kory. And I'd like to give a huge thank you and a welcome to my friend and U.S. Army veteran and small business owner, Blythe Potter, who's running for Secretary of State. And thank you for joining us today. I need to start with this. This isn't a campaign stop. This is home for me. Not home like a slogan, home like a place that shaped my bones, my beliefs, my stubborn streak, and my sense of right and wrong. I didn't learn hard work from a book. I learned it riding a bike before dawn on the east side of Connersville, throwing newspapers in the freezing dark. I learned it delivering an Indianapolis Star from the back of my mom's van through the entire east side of Connersville, knowing every dog, every porch light, every crack in the pavement I could throw my tire. I learned it waiting and working double with Bob Evans. I learned it at the news examiner, first behind the camera, and then with a pen and paper in my hand, telling the stories of the people who made this what it is. And I learned something deeper in the two shops that raised me, my mom's beauty shop and my grandpa's barber shop. Those places were the business. They were confessionals. They were community chapels. They were truth-telling centers long before we had Facebook to ruin it. I watched my mom work her ass off on her feet for 16 hours a day, pouring confidence into women who sometimes had none left. I sat in my grandpa's shop listening to factory workers, small business owners, mayors, young kids, old timers, people who didn't always agree, but who always showed up for each other. And here's what those shops taught. You are accountable to your community. You are responsible for your neighbor. And you are only as good as your word. If I got in trouble in school, somebody in that barbershop knew long before I even got home. That's what it means to grow up in Connersville. And I'm sure it's still the same way. My dad and my other grandpa served as firemen, running towards danger so others could run away. So if you're wondering where I learned service, it wasn't from politics. It was from this town. Connersville didn't just raise me, it built me. And every fight I've made it through. I made it through because of the values I learned right here in the city. Now, I want to talk about where we are. Let me tell you the truth, the sugar-coated version, not the political bullshit. Families in Fayette County are struggling, and it's not your fault. Wages haven't kept up. Groceries cost too damn much. Childcare is out of reach for so many people. Healthcare feels like a nightmare, and somehow, hardworking people are being told to tighten their belts while corporations rake in record profits. Our median income in Fayette County is nearly $9,000 lower than state average. Retail workers make $28,000 a year. Food service workers make just over $15,000. You cannot raise a family on that. You shouldn't have to survive on that. And you sure as hell shouldn't have to work harder when you're already working harder than anybody in Indianapolis will. And here's the part that should make every person and scare every person in this room. Fayette County is shrinking. We've lost over 2,200 people since 2000. Projections say we'll lose another 1,200 in the next 15 years. Not because people don't love this place, but because this place hasn't been invested in. Nearly 3,000 of our neighbors leave the county every single day just to earn a living, carrying our talent, our time, and our money across county lines because the opportunity isn't here. And for decades, politicians in Washington and Indianapolis have made promises, but the help never actually gets here. So let me be clear. This is not a crisis of numbers. It's a crisis of dignity. And every person here knows exactly what that feels like. But here's what else I know. If there is any town in America stubborn enough, tough enough, and proud enough to fight its way back, it is Connersville. This place has survived factory closures, economic wreckage, generational shifts, and we are still here. So if anyone wants to count us out, let them. We've been counted out before, and we're still standing. I'm running for Congress for one simple reason. Because working families deserve someone who knows what real life is. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a thousandaire. I'm not a corporate-backed candidate. I'm not someone who has lived a life of privilege. I'm a working-class gay dad who has stood in the grocery store after his head, wondering what goes back on the shelf. And last night, it was a jar of Meyer peanut butter because I didn't have enough money. So food goes back on the shelf. I'm a whistleblower who stared down the powerful and paid a price for telling the truth. I'm someone who built a career helping students, veterans, single parents, first generation kids, people who don't get lobbyists or PACs fighting for them. And I am someone who believes in something this town taught. When things get hard, we pull together, not apart. When people fall, we pick them up, not judge them. And when the world tries to divide us, we look out for each other any way we can. Those aren't political values. Those are Hoosier values. This isn't a left thing. This isn't a right thing. It's a Connersville thing. I told you that this campaign is about bringing people together. And speaking of that, I want to introduce a special guest who shares that belief in transparency, accountability, and service. Years ago, we were both students at Ball State University. She was in a sorority. I was in the sister fraternity or the brother fraternity, and our groups hung out constantly. Little did we know, even our own personal friends were friends together. We didn't know each other in college, but we were adjacent to each other. I won't say the photos I found of this though. But on the campaign trail, we realized, people realized that we know each other. Now, our own daughters are in college together, which is pretty cool. And we realized we share the same passion for solving problems and delivering results. Blythe's career has been defined by service. She is a U.S. Army veteran who served in the military police corps. She knows what it means to lead under pressure. After serving our country overseas in a high-threat environment in Baghdad, she came home, earned her MBA, and built her own small business in Bargersville Wellness. She's running for Secretary of State, and she is laser focused on cleaning up ethics, increasing voter turnout, and cutting the red tape that hinders the entrepreneurs she fights for. Please give Blythe Potter a warm Connersville welcome. And yes, the photographer is still me, so I'm
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I am from Johnson County, so not too far away, but still a very rural community. I grew up in Marion County, southeast side, so a rural community. And there's been a pretty common theme throughout my life. I'm female, but as someone who's working class, trying to figure things out on our own. The system isn't built for people like us. It's built for people who have the money, the name, the legacy, corporations behind them. And the biggest problem we're having in Indiana is voter turnout. The only way we protect our fundamental rights, as well as our civic rights and our human rights, is voting for people who give a shit about our rights and our future. It needs to change. Being a small business owner in Red County, the easiest way to let people know about who I am and what I'm doing on a budget is marketing and advertising for myself. So that's what I'm doing with this, and that's exactly what I want to do with the Secretary of State's office. My primary job as Secretary of State is overseeing the election process and ensuring free and fair elections. We have great poll workers. We have great access to most voting locations. We just don't always have access to who is on our ballot, what we're voting for, and why we should vote for them. It's usually the highest bidder, Republicans who have the corporate-backed money, the out-of-state donors who can send to our mailboxes information about them. So that's usually all we see. Grassroots people like myself and Kory, people who are normal Hoosiers, normal humans trying to just survive and make things better in our community. It's hard for us to do that, particularly with a congressional campaign or statewide campaign. So the easiest way to do that is do what other states do, is have a voter book. Any registered voter should have to learn to their home address exactly where their voting location is, who is on their ballot, nonpartisan information about every candidate, independent, Republican, Green Party, Democrat, whatever, whoever they're running for, where you can find more information, also how to get involved. The biggest problem we have with our schools is they're not teaching us this information because it's really looked down upon. Civics is not something we talk about. Your hospitality means money. We don't talk politics. We don't talk about the things that we're going through right now, which is kind of a convenient thing to happen because with the world just right around us, those barriers are forward as well. We have to be having these conversations. We have to be talking to the non-voters. We have to be talking to the registered voters who've been told we're in a state vote doesn't matter. We have to be talking to the enlightened Republicans who are maybe starting to realize, oh, perhaps we should do something different now. And the easiest way we can do that is to make sure we're registered to vote, find out who's on our ballot, and make sure we're going to vote for them. And Secretary of State also looks over the NBIS website, making it easier for small business owners and entrepreneurs. I own a salon and spa, so another thing we have in common, we are living in the salon world. Finding ways, once we get our registration for our business, where are my other resources? What other small business assets are there for us if we are veterans, if we're female business owners, if we're the LGBTQ plus community, BIPOC community, just making it easier that, okay, I've got my LLC, now what do I do? Instead of just out there flapping, trying to figure it out. And I know I've got plenty of time, and I appreciate that. However, I'll open it up for questions. That way I'm not just talking at you the whole 10 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I know when we on the East Coast, we used to get in the mail to book at the ballot to the family. We did not do that since we moved back.
Yep. I think that's by design. We, as 18-year-olds, we don't get information on how we register to vote, where we register to vote, or why we should. And as voters, we don't get that information. So that is something I'd like to start.
I understand that since we are at East, everybody is connected with the time to vote.
Wouldn't that be nice? Everyone had the access to what's on their ballot.
How can you make it happen for us?
Well, I have a feeling that when I'm elected, the Republicans are going to shrink my budget, and that's okay. We'll have to get creative with it. But instead of buying myself a luxury SUV or traveling to Hungary, I'm going to use those funds to make sure we have that program. Ideally, I would like to have a pilot program to fund the clerks. So this is happening on a municipal level. They can have access to all of the information as well as electronic campaign financing so that, has anyone in here been a municipal candidate before? Okay, the paperwork that you had to do, wouldn't it be easier if it were all online? I get to do that as a statewide candidate. I've been a municipal candidate too, and like 90 pages of trying to figure out a PDF later, it's a nightmare. So making it easier for our municipal clerks, because they're very intelligent, they're doing a great job. They don't always have the resources. So if it were up to me, and the clerks agree with it, I would like for them to do it. That way we're making sure we're including those local elections. But at the very least, I want to fund it on a statewide level.
I read that
Mhm.
I get coming from the East Coast. And when my husband and I we both have disabilities, both able to have electronic lower voting rights in front of us. We could, we could cast our votes individually, but in Congress, it's shaky for me. I shake very disability. Me and the machine shake while I'm trying to vote. Is there anything if you get elected that you can maybe get others and on the house and see the people with different kinds of who need that can use voting instead of am I making the home shake like I do?
Yes, accessibility needs to be top priority. We always need to be making sure we're paying attention to the. I don't like to say the weakest link, but that is what we would call it in the military. We want to make sure that our privates have the same access to what they need as everybody else. So yes, that and or having the ability to just opt in to an absentee ballot, so you don't even have to go to a polling location if you so choose. I would like to talk with you offline about that because I want more information on what that looks like as far as different machines. I think the entire state needs this. We need to be able to get everyone who's eligible to vote and register to vote to the voting location.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you see an issue with transportation?
Yes. I would love. We have an issue with public transportation in general across the state. That is not something the Secretary of State and as my office could do, but I'm really good at being a pain in the butt. We could make the legislature pay more attention to that. And that's another thing. Going into next year, we really have a good opportunity to vote in candidates up and down the ballot who are going to pay more attention to public transportation and how we access our communities. We would probably need to look at a pilot program or something like that. I know a lot of times communities organize that themselves, but yes, and I'm open to ideas. I will not have all the answers, and some of my answers may need to be modified. So we definitely need to work on that as well, for sure. Any other questions?
Is there anything that you know to kind of help with that transportation? In other words, maybe the offices offer transportation at certain times.
They absolutely should. Unfortunately, particularly in Johnson County, and I imagine here as well, we are governed largely by Republicans. So that's not something they're necessarily concerned with funding. We have Access Johnson County. I'm not sure if there's something similar here. I know a lot of places like care homes and assisted facility homes will offer that, but we need it to be offered to the general public as well. I'm not sure what that looks like as a funding, but that would be something the office would look at for sure. It would. And that's one very, I hate to say it, silver lining about what's happening right now is that's exactly what we're doing. We're organizing food, we're organizing resources, we're organizing health, and we're organizing making sure that we are having these conversations. So maybe we should talk about that too sometime. And maybe we can start planting those seeds for next year or May. Yeah. Yes, it's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Don't apologize.
So with the recent sending of the Indiana approvals going to Washington D.C., I know had some concerns over that.
Mhm.
That we were going to review those and just arbitrarily. So, do you have an update on that situation? Or what would you do to change that? Because
Well, I would make it illegal to not sell our data or give it to anyone, period.
we should still go in and check our
Oh,
regulations.
absolutely. You absolutely should. And in some capacity, and it will not happen before next year, in some capacity, the state government's going to have to respond to that. There was a time when my data was breached with the military, and what they did was they funded. It wasn't deleted, but it was something similar. So I got that for like 6 years after the data breach. That's something the state of Indiana should do for all of the registered voters who were affected by that, just to make sure that, okay, this data is gone. We know they've handed it over, but now we can keep it secure. It needs to be completely illegal for the state to sell our government without us opting in, or for any government office, which I suspect Secretary of State's office is doing that with businesses. And obviously that happened with our voter data. So it needs to be protected. And that's something I would like to see legislation make, so that it's a blanket, no government entity can do that. Really private entity, but certainly this office should not be doing that. You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? I'll be here afterwards as well, so you can always ask me and I'll make sure you have cards. You can email or call with questions too.
Really did.
Thank you for having
We
me.
open. Oh, you are. Here. So at this point, I'm not way more speech that it's not intended for. But this, again, this is an open forum for you guys to talk to us. If there's something you think that we should change, that Blythe could change as a Secretary of State, that I could change as a U.S. Congressman, tell us. Give us your ideas. If there are things that you don't like that are happening, tell us. If
Other
you've got
than
a question-
everything, we know
I'll go
everything we
ahead.
don't like.
If you have questions about what either one of us stand on a certain policy or topic or issue, ask. Don't be afraid. If you're shy, note cards are there so you can write that down. Sheila will collect it and bring it up here for us. But I want to open the floor for that. Ed, right, Ed? Yep.
Is there anything in your office you can do adjust real estate taxes and you're being foreseen now?
I unfortunately am not in office yet, but if when, we'll say when, right? When that is something that I genuinely don't have an answer for. And unlike most politicians who will BS you, I'm not going to. If I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you. But I'm gonna write it down. I have an answer. Make sure you get with me so I can get your telephone number, and I will have an answer for that. And I'll call you personally.
That is likely a county.
Is it a county? Okay. So Blythe said that that's likely a county or a state and doesn't fall under.
Or both.
I've talked to everybody in the county, state.
Okay.
King Bison's office. I got a couple of her, some wimp. He said, let me get this straight. You got papers. No, so yes, he said, these are done.
No.
No, we didn't.
Really didn't.
We did
Yeah.
not. SB1 really damaged us.
Yeah.
My assessment, more than a double, second year on my mom. More than double.
Are you, when you say real estate taxes, you're not talking about selling, you're talking about property taxes? Okay, that is likely going to be for county level. The problem is that reduction in property tax actually forced the counties to increase their local income tax. They defunded our schools and our counties by doing that. So that's unfortunately Governor Braun and our state legislator.
Old Braun and SB.
Yeah,
And they also increased from the federal level to each state.
They did with
Yeah.
the big
Phenomenal.
BS bill.
well, and the Secretary of State's office did that too. They're called HAVA grants. So they can give grants to counties to help fund voting machines that are accessible or updating those machines, or some counties don't even have machines yet. And those have not been redistributed. So it's a lot. We've lost a lot.
I'm not gonna say this. You guys all know this person here in Connersville. They hold an elected. Well, no, they're not an elected position, but somebody they work with. The different agencies. I'll just say this: the fire department, the police department. They've all been told to do more with less. Whose fault is that? Not yours. Because of it, it's because of Ron, SB1. It's because of federal. It's because of the big BS bill. Those are the things that we have to focus on. People get gaslit, and here's the best. I'm going to preempt a question. This may be something somebody asked. How do we talk to Republicans about understanding or getting them to understand or to not believe the cult speak that they've been told, right? Let me give you a great example. Do not laugh. If you've heard this example, please don't say it. How many of you remember
How can you forget?
right? How can you forget? Sweat to the oldies. All right, and please participate. I want you guys to tell me what he wore,
Spandex,
right? Okay, short shorts,
leotard.
leotards. Did you know that Richard Simmons never wore a headband?
What?
Ever? It's called the Mandela effect. Look it up. You guys get on Google, pull your phones out and look it up. Did you know this exercise? Okay. So there are no photos, there are no videos of Richard Simmons in a red bandana or headband. There's none of him in a headband or bandana, a sweatband. But there's lots of Halloween costumes where everybody wore that. So when it's in your face all the time, propaganda works the exact same way. It's psyops, it's psychological operations. They do the same things to Republican people. They'll push out these lies, just like kind of we were talking earlier about the individual that made a comment that I went to high school with that lives here about all the immigrants taking all the jobs here. It's not a thing. There's less than 1% of Latino population in Fayette County. It does not happen, right? So you see those things. But what's making it worse? Social media. Social media algorithms are amplifying these lies. They're amplifying the propaganda. They're stealing data from you as you do it, which is where I agree with life. They should not be selling our data. Your data is like your social security number, guys. Your online information should be treated exactly like personal identifiable information, and it should not be for sale. And I am very passionate about this because this is something I was a whistleblower on. That unfortunately to this day I still can't talk about a lot of those things. I turned it over to the FBI. What happened after that? I don't know. I don't know the answer to even know the thing I found. A lot of it. Some of it I do. But we need to protect online data. We also need to have laws in place that protect us from that Mandela effect that stops the propaganda. And it's easy to pick on Fox News because, well, it's Fox News, but all the news stations do.
Yeah.
It's not just Fox News. So watch your online news, no matter what you're on, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, it's all happening. It's force feeding those lies, basically. They're persuading you to believe one thing when it's actually another. So we need to have laws against that.
We should start wearing things.
What?
We should start wearing
And I
things.
know we're the red thing. Or we'll have to blue.
We don't know what to believe. Where do we research?
Independent media is a good source. I can give you a list of my favorites, but always fact check. Even if you see, most of the time when I hear something that Donald Trump has done, I'm like, surely that's fake. Most of the time it's not, but still it's worth fact checking. Midas Touch is good. They're run by attorneys.
Midas Touch is amazing.
Mother Jones. I actually, if you remind me when we're done, I have a list in my car. I just heard a woman speak. She's a Ball State journalism professor, and she gave us a list of really great media sources that aren't. Yes, I'll share that with you. Actually, what I'll do is I'll send it to you and you can make sure the Facebook page or that they get that somehow.
I'll send it to Sheila too. Make sure you guys follow the Fayette County Democrats on Facebook, and Sheila, can you post that on there?
Axios is good. APA, AP, sorry. Bring one out there. Yeah.
Guardian. I actually is it more left wing? I
No,
think like it's been fair. Like
I don't know if that's what was on the list. Surprisingly, Politico was on the list. Yeah,
Yeah.
PBS,
PBS.
NPR, and of course, we need to be supporting our public broadcasting. Yes.
I heard that, Margaret, they report
We are seeing a huge shift, probably globally, but definitely nationally, away from a lot of the mainstream media. Unfortunately, that's including like WTHR, Wish TV, because our local media sources are very generally pretty biased or just skimming over things, unfortunately.
and they skip a lot of it now too because it's owned. I think our WTHR, Wish, WRTV6, they're all owned now between two of the same.
Is
Yeah,
it,
like it's
yeah.
just absolutely ridiculous. They don't even report on some things because they were
or some candidates?
Yeah. Yeah, you see a lot of how would you put that? One-sided views coming, I think, from even our own local WRTV6, Wish, WTHR. Unfortunately, they tend to push who gives them money. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
So, what other questions do you guys have? Comments, concerns, ideas? Go for it. We got. Things in this room by show of hands. How many of you have ever met Jefferson Shreve or seen him in person? I don't mean on TV. You'll see me. I take going if I'm elected, when I'm elected, I take that seriously because, again, like I said in my speech, this is my home. This is what shaped me. It will always be home to me. And the problem with Congress is they report to lobbyists. I report to you. Fire my ass if I'm not doing the job. And I mean it. Fire me. Do not elect me again. I don't do what is right for the people. Congress, men and women, have gotten away. You know, you go to a town hall and you just hear them talk about what they are doing. Nothing about what I'm going to do is my idea. Nothing. Go to my website. Look, none of those were any of my ideas for that legislation, this policy, aside from the Digital Integrity and Accountability Act was my idea, but I still got input from it. Everything comes shaped communities in this district. It is not what I want. It's about what this district wants and what this district needs, demands. That's what a congressperson is supposed to do. You represent the people. You don't represent yourself. So that's my promise to everybody in this room. Fire my ass if I'm not doing my job. Because Jefferson's ass should definitely be fired. He's the richest man in Congress, and the first week, Scott, what was it? He made $60 million in trades, I think. You remember, other of you guys remember? It was insane, stock trading. On companies that he oversees in the committees that he's on. How many of you think that's fair? This is one other, look, I'm not even 1,000 there, I can promise you. I will release my taxes if anybody asks to see the 4 things. I will release them. So I make $65,000 a year working at a university. I am not a billionaire. But even in Congress, I will release it. And I don't plan to trade stocks either, which is what most people going into Congress run. So they can trade stocks and make millions. I actually would love a ban stock trading for any elected position. I, in fact, think Congress and Senate should be paid less than what they're paid. If I get elected, you guys, my salary would be $175,000 a year.
And term limits. Maybe term limits on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that was the main one.
Everything elected and appointed needs a term limit.
I agree with you, right there. Everybody ought to have.
Yep.
personal yeah.
But-
Lifetime contract.
Here's my question to all of you. Then. You know, senator is what, 6 years,
years.
and most everything else is 4. Congress is 2, so you are constantly running for office, constantly raising money. I got 2 questions for all of you. First question: should Congress be increased to 4 years or 3 years, no more? And should political party or political candidates just all have a fund, not have to raise money? Would you agree to increase taxes
Like publicly.
that gave money to candidates like Mike and I, and even running for president? We all got money out of the same pot. We're all, you know, based obviously if you're running for president, you're going to get more money than you are if you're running for mayor, or if you're running for Congress or Senate or second. Each one's allocated, but it comes from tax dollars, which eliminates then lobbies
Raising tax dollars on the wealthy.
on the wealthy.
Asterisk.
Thank you.
not,
Thank you.
not on us.
And not on us. I do think that we should tax
Tax the rich.
Musk, tax Bezos. What do you guys think of that? You think that's a good idea or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every one of them.
Absolutely.
If everybody's taxed the same rate, it wouldn't be a problem.
No, we would have free healthcare.
We
We'd
would
have
have-
free education. We would have free childcare. We would have safe homes, safe food, safe air, everything. It would be so much better.
They would take the cap off of bring them to Social Security, but under 65,000 now, and take the cap off, it would solve it.
And that is something I 1,000% support. I would love to see the cap removed from Social Security. We wouldn't have the issue. Is it going to be there for me? I'm 46. Is there going to be Social Security when I retire? Why not? Especially at the rate the Republicans.
Answer your question, I say maybe tax the rich, but I think more importantly, there should be a limit on how much you can pay, what you pay. Your tax should not be able to, give you bills
Mm-hmm.
because we end up having bills spending their side. That's just the way it is. I mean, a person should be able to.
Yeah.
And then you limit spending, so, well, I mean, and you don't have, what's his name?
Jefferson Shreve, the richest man in Congress, who
No, I can't believe I can't remember. Basically, I know. Elon.
oh God,
Then
Nepo
you
baby.
can have fund
Yep.
Funding the entire.
No.
Amen to that.
And then stealing our data.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, and everybody here,
No.
most everybody knows. I'm a retired 30-year IRS employee. And, the whole years of my career, I kept hearing people, especially some politicians, talking about abolishing the IRS and going to a flat tax, turning the tax over to the states. I know will not work because states can't collect their own tax. They can't handle the federal tax. What is your stand on
I don't think I have enough information to even give an educated answer to that.
Okay.
The non-political me, Kory, just me. Like, yeah, get rid of taxes, right? But I would need to research that more for sure. to know if it's a feasible thing to do. Like you said, it's the state.
Flat taxes help when it helps like small business owners, especially. But largely the reason our taxes are the way they are is because it benefits large corporations.
Sure.
So I think a flat tax, it's kind of like what we're talking about, everyone's taxed the same rate. That would be state and federal. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's got the same federal taxes.
I'm gonna write it down though. I learned. Get
It
educated
might
on
put you out of a job if you ever decide to go back to the IRS though.
I'm retired. I'm retired.
No, I think it would simplify things too, particularly for our young people or working class people.
The only contact I have with them now is every April.
Who else?
Being
Okay.
retired.
Oh yeah, totally. They should not.
Probably 1,000%.
Yeah, there's no difference. We pay, we pay our taxes when we were working. Now that most of us are retired, the taxes again.
And your property taxes
property
continue to have to be paid even if your house is paid off.
Yep.
Yeah.
You pay taxes when you buy the house and you just pay on it until you die.
That is one thing I've always thought, just even as a homeowner. When you own your home and you paid it off,
We don't actually own it.
like, yeah, like,
Yes.
right, exactly. Yeah, like there needs to be something done with that for sure. Your home, did you have a question?
We've been watching grow over the years is that there are definitive lines
Yep.
on congressional. What would be your communicating to all sides?
So I have a unique perspective, I think, with my former late grandfather-in-law, Doc. I got to spend a lot of time with him when I was married to my ex-wife. And Doc was a fascinating man. I've always been a history buff my entire life. So, getting to spend time with Doc was really cool at the lodge and bringing floor to ceiling pictures of him with, the Ayahuasca, with Mahatma Gandhi, with Bill Clinton. And as a staunch Republican, you see a picture of Bill Clinton and Doc Owen together was a little weird. And that's what started this question. How did this connect? He was two-time governor here and then had a public human services for Reagan. He said, and I learned from mom and dad. I remember when grandma and grandpa met Doc, you thought they met the king of England or the queen of England. Like, it was hilarious to see it because he was just so loved. And I asked him, how did that happen? He said, Gray, listen. He said, to be a good leader, you listen. And then you listen more. And then I said, well, how did you get these people to come across the aisle? He said, I'd look at them and I'd tell them, we're not getting away, we're not getting your way. We're going to find an answer to this. And I think that was, back then I thought you went into politics to lose your soul. But I never in a million years thought 25 years later I would be standing up here running for office. I talked to him about as a leader, as a director of admissions at the time. And he said it even applies to leadership. Sorry, a little. You have to listen to people and you have to bring people to the table and mediate. You have to get people to talk. You cannot keep taking your ball and going home when you don't get your way. Now, I say that and I want to I'll get crucified if I don't back this up. I will never, and I repeat, never compromise on my values ever. Okay? That means human rights are human rights. There is no compromise. Women's rights. Healthcare is a human right. I am not going to back down. We can talk about what's going to be in universal healthcare all day long, but I will not argue that it's not a human right. Right? So I'm going to the table with that mindset. I also have 4 pillars. I'm not going to go through those for time's sake. That if when legislation comes up, I'm going to apply it. Listen first. Does it help the people here in Fayette County? And I mean all people. I'm not a Republican, but it doesn't mean if, when I'm elected that I'm not representing them. That's the problem with Republicans today. They've just ignored half this country as if we don't exist. You are an elected official. You represent everybody, not just your own damn party. And that is something I'm going to go back to, is representing everyone. We have to be honest. We have to understand we're not going to get our cake and eat it too sometimes, right? We have to compromise on some things. And we haven't had that in a long time in Congress.
We don't have accountability.
We don't, yeah.
Is the biggest problem. And elected Republicans and the voting Republican population, I think, are usually different species of Republicans. But like what Kory was saying, human rights are nonpartisan, they're non-negotiable, and I think they should be at the forefront of everything that we're making decisions of. Now those human rights that view might benefit me as a woman more than it might benefit Kory as a man, but still with that lens on it, I think both parties right now are having their own version of extinction burst. You've got both parties kind of split up into two, like, tug of war sides, basically. So the next year it'll be really interesting to see how that goes.
Your position can be basically non.
Oh, but I'm really good at being a pain in the butt with the legislature, so I will still be holding them accountable. But it's working with it. It is what we need. We need all levels of government to be communicating and making sure that we're focusing on the same things. But as Secretary of State, being an elected official, I can talk to the legislature. Let's get rid of the referendum thing where we have to wait for 2 sessions before we can put something on a ballot. If you want to vote on straight ticket voting, get a petition. Let's put it on the ballot. We want to allow for poll workers to work half days. Let's put it on the ballot. Like, not just do what decisions I want, what Kory wants. Let's allow for the people who are voting to actually decide that for us.
And the other reason I brought up the question is because I've heard people say that they don't notice. And so you start with them, and it's hard to get notice if you don't talk with them. If you can't communicate, if they won't communicate with you, nothing will ever get.
That's part of the reason he and I are doing this. There's no way on this planet have you ever told me before 2023 I would get involved in politics. Like, absolutely not. But seeing that we are being ignored and no one else seemed to be doing it, that's why we're here. Because we are trying to be the people that we expected all of our previous elected officials to be, and doing the job. This is a public service. Actually being involved in politics at all is a public service, so thank you for being here. But they totally just lost the plot on what the job is.
I think for me as Congress, to back on what I said before too, a lot of times you're going to know when Congress is in session. You're going to know what you're going in to vote on. If you know that in advance, you should be in the communities talking to the people that find out what they want you to do.
That means you have to read legislation.
Right.
You will have to read legislation.
And we don't have that now. I mean, how many people, for an example of the big, beautiful bill, did we hear Republicans with the AI ban on any laws for AI for the first 10 years? Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said it publicly. I didn't know
Many of them did.
And then she flipped on it real quick. A lot of people said that because they don't read it. Why? Because it's this damn big and they slide 1,000 things in there that has nothing to do. I mean, big, beautiful bill was literally quite that. It's just a giant ass bill of crap that they wanted to get passed. But they just continue to shove these little things that they have nothing to do with what they want to pass, throw it in there in the back. That needs to stop also. But we completely lost my train of thought. Sorry. We need to. Yeah, I lost it. Sorry. Well, I'm trying to remember what I was saying now. ADHD. If you guys have to figure it out, I am loaded with it.
Read
it. Right. Read the bill. Yeah.
and be accountable. Like, we need to hold ourselves accountable as candidates and politicians, but we also need to be holding each other accountable. If anyone in our executive or legislature in Indiana were to be like, "Hey, you're screwing this up, to fix this," things could be really different right now for everybody.
I would love it when I'm elected. If there's something you don't like, I want you to call me. Y'all live here. You know my mom and dad. Tell them. Don't tell mom and dad.
Yeah.
Don't bug my mom and dad. I'll call my office. I'm kidding. Don't call my mom and dad. Yeah, don't call my mom and dad. I know you're gonna have to go back to that. But I mean, kind of to that, you know, when I was a kid, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa knew before I got home if I did something wrong. You guys are gonna know before I'm home from Washington if I did something wrong. Call me on it.
Of course. We're just elected. And now I'm finding out can the call the state or the federal representative. No. These are answers that have phone. Go to voicemail and mail. Or they say, send an email. It never gets returned. How do I know? And the rest of us said, you could pick up a call.
It's a great question. And it is frustrating because a lot of men and women in political office, you call them. I've had the issue here in Fayette County with the mayor. I've called multiple times, emailed multiple times, no return call, no return email. It's frustrating when somebody does that to you, right? My promise to everybody in this room, and I will continue to make that promise, is that if you call, I will return your call. I will. I'm not going to have somebody from my staff do it. I will do it. That is the least you can do when you are an elected official. It's the sun. I was taught a long time ago the sunset rule. If somebody calls you, you call them back when the sun sets. Even if you don't have an answer, you tell them, I may not have an answer, but I'll call you back. Now, is it realistically possible for somebody in Congress with 11 counties to be able to do it in the same day? Depends. I mean, if we've got hundreds of people calling you every day, it'll be pretty busy. So it might take a couple of days. But I will call back if you call me. Again, vote my ass out if I don't.
Well, Claire, I just have one good thing, one good thing to say about the mayor. Only because I put it on Facebook, all over Facebook, about the silly flag and complaining that they're not being silly flag at City Hall. The email him. I did get a response from
You did?
that email, and I did not include my name on the email. Did not include my name on my phone number. But somehow he's smarter than I am when it comes to technology because I received on the document in my Facebook complaint, but I received a phone call from the mayor himself on the issue.
You know,
So
that's
I
when
did-
we go be part of his office. You wouldn't afford it.
But that's the only thing I will say about it.
At least he gave you a call back.
Well, and that's how you rebuild trust in politics, right?
Right.
Like, it is a crapshoot. Anyone you ever vote on will be a crapshoot. So we will have to be holding ourselves to the standard to try to rebuild trust with the public. It's
Kind of
definitely
honestly
not
the
there.
purpose.
Yeah.
To be honest, the reverse town hall, those that don't know, it is typically less of Mike and I talking or the candidates talking. It's you guys talking, kind of like what we're doing now. Is to rebuild trust with communities because trust has been lost with politicians because they do whatever the hell they want. They don't listen to people and they don't do what the people want. So that's, I know for me, I can't speak for any other candidate. For me, That's why I've said I'm not coming out saying this is my stance. This is what I'm going to do. I'm taking everything from every town hall I go to, from every conversation that I have. That's what I'm using to build my campaign because I'm for the people, which is why my slogan is still "Together We Rise." Because it's the only way we're going to do this. The only way to change is together.
Toria, I know you both have said that you think there should be term limits in Congress and everything. You think that also applies to the Supreme Court?
Oh,
Yes.
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 Any elected or appointed position, even on the local level. I mean, how many commissioners or appointed board members do you know that have just been sitting there for decades? I know a lot in Johnson County. Yeah. It doesn't allow us to share or pass the baton, and it doesn't allow us to teach a new generation of people to help govern our communities. Not necessarily going to be quick, but we need to be engaging others to be involved in this process. Stop the gatekeeping.
Yeah, that's how you convince people to pass legislation when it's against what they want.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
Because
against
you go to
their
Congress and say, I think we need to have a term limit for Congress members.
Sure.
Because then they're like, oh yeah, I mean.
Well,
Right. Instead of lowering our pay, nobody's gonna-
but that is how having informational candidates is beneficial. Because questions like that can be in a voter book. Does this candidate support term limits? Yes or no?
And it takes, look, I will be the first to admit, when I'm elected, I'm probably not going to get a bill passed in the first year. It's not typical for a freshman Congress.
I think
Has
things
it
are going to be
happened?
very
Sure.
different in 2027.
But I do too.
It'll be
I
very different.
definitely agree. One thing I can tell you guys from behind the scenes of political candidates across all seats, I'm in a group with U.S. congressional candidates, a group chat where we talk across the U.S. We know what's going on. We get ideas from each other too. But I can say that even here, like I was up in Randolph County with Kelly Thompson, who's running for U.S. Congress in the 3rd district. Randolph County is split in half between the 6th district and the 3rd district. So part of that area is going to be for Kelly. Part of it's going to be either me, Cindy, Alex, or Ray. When you know other people in the area, you can work together. Kelly's already told me she loved the Digital Integrity and Algorithmic Accountability Act. She loved that. She liked that idea. I think when you work together on those things, you're more apt to get them passed. But it is going to take time. It's not going to happen in my first year. It may not even happen in my first 2 years. And right now, then I have to go up for election again. So if I'm elected, this applies for anybody, whoever is elected. Keep in mind, it is difficult for Congress to get anything passed in their first year. You've got to learn who's on your team. You've got to talk to each other. You got to build that coalition. And that's where I would encourage people for Congress is to look at your congressional candidates, look at your Senate candidates. When we have to work together like that, who's able to compromise? The simple fact is we can't have a candidate, we can't have a congressman or a congresswoman who's going to go take their kickball home if they don't get their way. We can't afford to have that. We can't really afford to have that in any kind of political aspect. We have to understand what's happening in this country. It's so important.
Have you signed the pledge, the term limits pledge?
No,
There is a, remind me to send that to you. A lot of state candidates are doing it too, but there is, I know we're asking you to believe our pledges and our oaths and what we say to you, but there is a pledge that's been going on for several years for legislature, congressional and Senate candidates, even state candidates to say, yes, I agree with term limits. If I am elected, I'm going to push term limits.
Look, I still partially believe that you go to politics to lose yourself, because that's the way it's been lately. I am an educator. I have worked in higher education for 21 years. I don't want to be a politician. I'm doing this because there's nobody stepping up to do it. And I hope that I can be your representative for a certain amount of time and we get things fixed, or even if I leave office for a term limit, that it's back in the direction of a good, things are happening good. I leave office happily and go back to my normal life of being a higher education. I've worked in financial aid admissions for 21 years. What I know, it's what I love. So that's my promise. I hope that I get to be held for a term limit and go back to a normal life. Sounds weird, right? I hope I don't have this job anymore. But that's the way it should be for all of us, right? Yes.
Now, what would be your stance on a bill if somebody was to submit a bill, even yourself, that said that if any congressman, any to Congress, for approval, if they lie to Congress and they knowingly lie to Congress and it can be proved that they lied to Congress, do you believe that they should be stripped of whatever office that they got into? And should that be an immediate approval or over time?
Immediate removal.
You know, I'm thinking like the Supreme Court, for example. You know, there's been several of the recent appointees that said they wouldn't vote against the abortion bill. They did. They flat out lied on that issue. And to me, that should be automatic dismissal from court because they lied to Congress and they lied against their oath of office.
Remove them.
Not right.
Take their benefits.
Yes.
No lifetime health
No
care.
lifetime health care.
Right.
No.
Medicare for them.
Not
Yeah,
unless
no,
everyone has it.
they should be removed. No, and I say that, I have Barbie up, my face gives away what I'm thinking sometimes. I know there's times that I've said something that, for example, I wasn't educated enough on universal health care. I thought it was going to cost too much. First one to own it. And then I educated myself and found out more information. There's a difference between lying and educating yourself and becoming aware of something happening. And so I want to distinguish between things. Now, in the example you're using, that's not lying it out. Like George Santos, another example. You know, somebody lying through their teeth multiple times. So yes, but caveats. I hate the yes, but there are really going to be scenarios where that's the case. Somebody said something because they weren't educated. They found out more.
And that's true. Yeah.
Well, if you apply for any job anywhere, you lie on job application, they find out later. Don't worry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure are.
Same emotion.
What other questions, comments, concerns?
So, hanging out in the rain, 3 hours, very anxious, what would you change to that?
I think we just have a combination of vote centers and voting locations. So you still have one in every precinct, but you can vote at any of them just to make it easier. But I would also like to see it changed to where you don't have to have an excuse for an absentee ballot. You can just opt in and vote absentee. Just to make it, it all needs to be easier and more accessible. You're in that's Marion County, right? Yeah. Yeah, those were really bad. I started out with Suzanne last year, and it was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
So absentee voting.
Of course there is.
Was there?
We don't want people to vote.
So, it's pretty difficult to preserve that.
As long as we still have it before 2026, no. I think things are getting bad enough now, and we have enough Republicans. I mean, we're even seeing it with our state legislature, which is kind of crazy. I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't know how much I believe they're actually not going to redistrict. But we've done enough, and we're doing enough every day that I think they might even not even pass the SAVE Act in Congress. That's still up for grabs in the Senate. So with an asterisk again, I think we will still be able to have that. I just think it needs to be easier for people to have an absentee ballot.
will we be able to vote?
I hope so. That's part of the SAVE Act.
Okay.
That one basically, to the best of my understanding, says if your registration for voting doesn't match your birth certificate, you are ineligible to vote. Primarily affects women.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
So recently, Micah Beckswick is talking about this is the new narrative that I've seen form online in social media. It's one of those weird things that I watch that type of stuff online. Talking about making primaries closed primaries. Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you know anything about it?
It feels like we already
Did we?
closed. I don't know. What does he mean by that?
You know what? I will tell you.
Because
Registration for
oh, so we would register ourselves instead of them automatically.
yeah, right now we choose Republican Democrat ballots for years.
Okay.
We would not have an option. We have a card saying Republican register.
That we would have to change with the
So we want
no, that's dumb. I would like to find a way. Oh, Micah, you're terrible. You're terrible, Micah. I'd really like to find a way where, and this right now would benefit Democrats or independents more, but I'd like to find a way where we could, for purposes of being on boards or being appointed, have a declaration of party, but still be able to vote for other people in the primaries. Because if I'm pulling a Democratic ballot, but I'm stuck in a red state, that gives me zero choice on what's happening on the Republican ticket or the November ballot. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know how we would make that happen, or if that's a thing elsewhere.
I know that's.
But no, I don't think we should do the closed primaries. Or closed primaries.
But if that came about, and Democrats, and we couldn't vote for Republican and stay a part of the Democrat Party.
If we're registered Democrats, we couldn't vote for the Republicans.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So right now we can't. If we pull a Democratic ticket now, we can only vote for Democrats in the primaries.
I know.
Yeah, because that's all we see.
That's all we see.
When it comes to registration, just for example, and we're registered Democrats, something happened. We Republican person weird subject. We would be thrown out of the Democratic Party.
Oh, for pulling a Republican ballot. Yeah. I think that's a party thing, local party level. I don't have a good answer for that or a good resolution.
Okay.
Linda, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, if I understand what you're saying, it comes back to election.
Mhm.
Election, as you have to pull whatever party.
Yeah.
You want to run for your elected office or party position on ways that you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of areas there that have to be adjusted.
If that's even a thing. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Wait, what?
If there are other states that allow that, so where you're registered in one party, but you still have an option to vote for independent candidates. Okay. Okay.
Say what? It's a jungle primary.
Jungle?
Yeah, just
Ooh.
everybody
Sounds
I know.
fun.
But I have heard from the past that people from the Democrat Party have voted Republican for whatever reason, and they were removed
From the local party.
Party.
Yeah, I think that comes down to local party, but I think that's usually mostly like if you're wanting to run for office and haven't pulled a Democratic ballot, or if you're wanting to be like a precinct chair for the Democratic Party, but haven't. We've run into that with our peers,
Yeah.
particularly last year, because Free Center Indiana was imploring people, even Democrats, to hold a Republican ballot to prevent Trump from being the nominee. So that really, it messed up a lot of things.
Sheila, go ahead.
Fayette County, if you go to, run for Fayette County office or Connersville office, you have to not vote the opposite party. You have to,
So it's kind of similar to what,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's like that in most counties. Yeah. I don't think that, does that mean that you can't be involved with the Democratic Party? That's just, okay. Okay, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, I've not actually heard of that.
You can not run.
Yeah.
For those votes talked about.
Yeah,
But you cannot be picked out unless you give them a reason.
yeah, like a Rule 19 thing. Yeah, there's a whole, yeah.
Well, Rule 19 also, I mean, if you were just attending the meeting.
Yeah.
Unless you're unruly and there's a reason that you shouldn't be there for safety or other reasons, there's no amount of anything.
and for everybody, Linda is the Hancock County Democrat chair.
And
So,
CD6.
And CD6. Yeah, I was like, wait, hold on, I forgot. You got your CD6 too. So yeah. What other questions? Comments, recommendations, ideas?
I'll ask one.
Scott?
You said you were in contact with several other congressional candidates.
Yes.
Are you guys coalescing on running some sort of platform that we can all get together behind, or is it just from that?
I know, I was interested in that too. Like, ooh.
So
Democrats. Good.
I've seen that discussion. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I've seen that discussion. I don't honestly.
Do you feel like there's a pretty good, like, do the bulk of the people in those chats want term limits and want a lot of the
Yeah.
things that you
No,
want?
yes.
Because that is how we change the country, is by
Exactly.
getting a bunch of those people across the country elected.
Most of us have the exact same ideas. Like we want to see the same. We want to see the same outcomes. We want to see the same laws be passed. I would like to say that there is a universal message. I just can't say that yet. I don't know what's going on. I'm along for the ride in those conversations. I'm not leading those conversations. I'm new to the chat group. Like, I'm new to the chat group.
You're just an
Sure.
observer.
And so this week we saw Senate Democrats,
Bend
I
over.
would use the word and the shutdown. I've seen some folks, good Democrats, people like us, make a compelling case that they did the right thing. What do you think? Was it time that the shutdown did those things? Wrong chamber of Congress, but still, it's a testament to the kind of leadership that we have in Washington. Did those Democrats do the right thing and out to Republican?
I will. Look, I've not minced my words, and I'm not going to start now. Those 8 Democrats should be voted out of office. Period. The way I feel.
Well, predominantly, we didn't actually benefit that much
No.
from it. So with the $500,000 thing going to those other centers, like it felt dirty. And this is just an opinion as a constituent or a citizen. Like, what was that 40 days for? If it ends up being kind of worse, because we're not guaranteed that ACA is going to be funded. We're not. Now we're going to be giving millions of dollars to a few senators who are corrupt AF and have their stuff taken. Like,
We just came
what
off
did
of
we
one of the
do
biggest
there?
highs.
Yeah.
Like after that Tuesday of winning in New York and Virginia, and it just for them to cave. To me, it's time to elect people who have a spine. I don't give a damn what party you're in.
Well, I'm open to being wrong too. There might be information we do
Yeah.
not know. Like,
Thank you.
suddenly emails started popping up too after that. So was that like part of the deal? Like, I don't know.
From what I've seen,
That would be nice.
I wondered that myself.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie, I wondered it myself. So based on my knowledge of what I know of the situation, I felt like it was kind of a slap in the face to America.
But I'm also not a federal worker. My pay was not cut for those 40 days.
Go for it.
You know, the chamber you're running for, is Hakeem Jeffries the right person to be the House Democrat?
I don't have an opinion on who it should be. But from my personal perspective, I don't know.
Diego Morales is not the person for this job either, just in case you wondered.
Oh, you're SUV. Pay her money.
So did
you guys
Beckwith.
know that? You guys in the room. I think I talked to Mom. I was telling you about this one. He took taxpayer money on body.
So did Beckwith, and then Ron got a helipad.
How much is that helipad?
180?
$180 million.
180.
Or 180 million.
It was a lot. I don't remember.
I think
3
that
weeks
was,
ago, I would have remembered. I don't remember. We're on to other things we're mad about.
It's about every day, 4 times a day these days. Question?
Yes.
You know, who
Yes.
needs to be in jail?
Actually, a lot of them do.
Pam Bondi, Lauren Boebert.
Her on horseback and other.
Well, and she got herself some private jets and
Yeah.
living in officers' quarters. Coast
Yeah,
Guard.
I just heard about that. I didn't even know about that. Any other questions?
Just make a comment.
Yeah.
I think we've all felt it. In Indiana, I think some of our smaller communities. But I have to tell you, I was extremely pleased to see the response from Indiana saying we're not going to keep regular districting back and forth because our constituents stood up and said no.
Yeah.
It may still happen because Trump called everybody, well, called 2 people to visit with him and went, no, I don't think the door is shut on it. But I feel really proud of the people giving them those phones and sending emails and saying, you want this.
You should. And you guys should be proud that you're spending your Saturday here doing it. I know what day of the week it is sometimes. But I think that's where this is.
I felt really
Yeah, and it is because we're doing a lot. You're calling, you're protesting, going up, you're running for office. Like, you should.
The question I hear a lot, I shouldn't say I get it, but I hear a lot at town hall is what can we do to help? How do we get other people involved? There's some people that don't vote. I think kind of the piggyback on what Blythe was talking about, we don't talk civics now. I mean, growing up, you hear there's 2 things you don't talk about.
Politics and money.
Politics and religion. You have to stop that. You have to be able to have a conversation, but sometimes you have to have a hard conversation. You can't be afraid to do it. I was getting a haircut a couple months back at Great Tips in the Coolsville, right there on Middleton Pike. And the hairdresser there, don't tell me, Mom. It was, I know, everybody's looking at me like, you didn't go your I did, and after this, I can tell you the story the first time I took my haircut. I was sitting, Mom, but she was interested. I had anything, and she was interested. She's like, "Oh, I don't." And I just looked at her. I said, "But why?" She's like, "There's just so much," and it just. I feel like my vote doesn't matter. I'm going to be the first. I'm not even first because we've all said it. Your vote matters, and I think that's something everyone in this room thinks. Your vote matters. It matters. Who is it in Linda or Tammy was not talking? Person in Delaware County, you know, lost by 7 votes. Was it McCordsville? Okay.
It might be.
Like it does. 7 people could have changed the outcome. So yes, your vote, and everybody who's watching, your vote matters. It's something we have to do. It is our civic duty. And for God's sake, they're There might be a point where women not voting. Trump is she has his way. That's a real thing. I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, why the hell am I saying?
Well, but to that, again, with the protests and the calls to action and the showing up, Linda, what was it Stephanie Jo Yoakum said? Just the new registered voters in her district was like 3,000. Never voted before since November. That right there wins seats. So having these conversations, telling people about these events and just doing the thing, which I know you are doing, it is working. Unfortunately, we just have to keep doing it for a few more years. At least 10, and then we can let up a little bit.
You know, and I think the biggest problem with people not talking politics and being told not to is the fact that the majority of people don't know how to discuss politics.
Yeah, civic.
They only want to argue politics. And when they argue, nobody wins.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to listen to both sides before you can discuss politics.
Just that last time.
You know, just like I've had the cousin. We fight with him all the time because he tries to throw us under the bus in the middle of the work. It's like, well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll discuss it all day. I'm not arguing because as soon as it turns out into an argument, no one wins.
Well, that's what's been modeled, though. Civic discourse is not a thing we are taught. And what we're seeing in mainstream media and in politics pretty much our whole life is just that. It's do as I say, not as I do. And that's been the standard. And with everything being crushed, literally and figuratively, like, we will have to set the stage for what that looks like going forward. But it's so bad now that people are starting to have those conversations. I think a little bit more. There are going to be some people you won't be able to talk about it with.
No.
Mhm.
Going to my big thing on this is how many of you guys in this election? Well,
More of that.
so when you work the polls, and you guys can tell me how educated are those voters?
Rarely.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Because they don't even know what's on the ballot. They
Yep.
don't know how to access information, and
Yep.
they don't even know. And a long time I don't know where to even find the information about the candidates and research.
Same, especially in Indiana at the municipal level, Republicans just have it R by their name and win. I've been a municipal candidate trying to dig for that information. They don't have to come to town hall. They don't have to answer the late women voters questions. They don't have to have anything. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. Is if we just give them the information, I think we will change our entire outcome of the state. But we have to get to that point first.
Yeah, I love that idea.
It's not even actually really my idea. Other states do it. There are like 7 or 8 other states that already do
I
it.
can't believe it.
I can, but there's a reason we don't. Because that's how we keep losing.
Right.
Well, and you kind of brought this up about, teaching civics. So I'm an elementary.
You're a saint. Thank you.
Fifth grade, I teach the history, I teach the frontier and the Bill of how we became a nation. But there's on education right now, and governing public lit. And we talk about I can't afford to lose my job.
Yeah.
And so I don't need a parent to be mad at me because I'm taught that the United States Constitution says a term limit on presidents running to limit. I'm not changing the Constitution, I'm teaching. But teachers in the state of Indiana have so afraid and so careful about what we are teaching, how we are saying it. And so our kids are learning how to have those physical things. They're only being said what they're hearing at home, and repeating it in the classroom, and we as teachers can't even correct them. When they're wrong, when you say, well, no, that's not wrong. That is not true.
It is.
I'm sorry for hearing this. That's not the truth. This is the truth without possible repercussions on our career.
The Attorney General doxing you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
There are teachers that wanted to come today that didn't because they're afraid they might, because they're academic. That
Are they discouraging critical thinking?
I feel like there's an attack on critical thinking just in general in education. Now, do I teach my students to still critical think? Why, yes, I do. If your answer says 70 and it's like a fraction, does that make sense? That's critical thinking. But when it comes to anything political, you have to be so careful about everything that you say.
Is that one reason we're losing so many teachers?
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure
they're not
there's
paid.
I mean, besides the pay.
Yeah, no, many reasons for that. I'm luckily a 23-year veteran. I know my rights. I know my students' rights. I'm very careful about how I say things, about how I approach things. But you know, you're talking new teachers, and when you're already faced with so many different issues within the classroom that they're dealing with, you know, keeping, you know, quality teachers is definitely a challenge. But I'm also a member of the union, so I care a little bit. I'm protected.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a whole other thing. But I just think that teachers, just the attack on teachers in general makes teaching civics so much harder. I can't even imagine teaching at the high school level right now. I can't even imagine what they go through on how careful they have to be about everything that they do.
What's happening at a college level too?
It's all on all levels.
Professor,
Look at the professor at IU.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
just, I think, I agree with you. It's happening and you've got to be careful and it shouldn't be that way, period. I also think you all should be paid a hell of a lot more money if we can pay ICE agents $50,000 sign-on bonuses and $40,000 end-of-year bonuses and $90,000 a year salaries to hunt brown people. We can pay our teachers a hell of a lot more money, period. And I mean like double your salaries pay you.
Okay, we want you to
All
work
of
on that, okay?
I would love.
We'll work on that.
If I could, I genuinely, I will, if something ever was, when I'm elected, if something came across my desk for that, 1,000% I would vote for it. 1,000%. I know teachers pay set by the state though, so I can't have too much to do with that, but. What other questions?
ideas for this? If there's something we could do different.
I'm always open for those.
When government shuts down, like it just did in the last 41 days, pass a bill that when it shuts down, all the congressmen, all the people up there that made it shut down, don't get paid either.
I'll do one better for you. I want to see them fined like the NBA and the NFL. I think that they should be fined and at the end of the year, their pay is readjusted and it goes down 10,000 or whatever amount. Every time they shut down the government, they're not getting paid and they're fined. If you can't get your ass to the table and do your job, because your job is literally to communicate with each other and come up with an idea, then you better start, and I mean big fines. I'm not talking like a $2,000 fine, $2,500 fine. I'm talking $50,000, $100,000 per second time. Start these fines that are, I've seen it with Wall Street, where the fines are a line item for business. I want to see fines that are, get them. That will force them to come to the table and do their damn jobs. That's what I want to see. So, and I can promise you, I will never change my mind on that, ever. They should not be paid, like Dad said. And I think take it a step further, start finding them. And I mean, find them.
I could. I go one with the Army Congress, the president of the United States no longer gets paid. As long as it get that
Agreed.
happens, the president should not get.
I don't think anybody in government.
No,
I stand with you on that.
yes.
President, vice president,
No golf trips,
no, yep.
nothing.
Well, I mean, if the federal employees don't get paid, why would they get paid?
Exactly.
They're federal employees.
I mean, there's a few good friends of mine who are federal employees that I've watched and I talked to behind the scenes. I'm not going to call them out, but I mean, they're friends of even my family that I grew up with them. And to hear the stories of what they were worried about during this, and then you see Trump going off, flying to Mar-a-Lago on Marine One.
Gatsby bowls.
Oh my God. I can't even, I can't say the words that I want to say for that because it's just, it's unbelievable. So yes, I agree with you 1,000% that the president, vice president, all of them, no pay.
I remember the last time the government shut off the free market, I've been involved in that, unfortunately. But I remember Jose Andreas came to Washington, D.C. to set up a food kitchen for all the federal employees.
And a senator,
We
we were there, and the senator came in and had his posse with him, and he was doing a press conference. Jose was doing a press conference. Or, TV interview. And when he's talking about that, he says, "You are not welcome here." He said, "You have 10 seconds to get out the door, or I will call the law." And he said, "Tell all your other buddies not to ever step foot in that door." And boy, did he get a good thing. And then Congressman.
All right. As he should. Questions? Any other questions? Ideas, comments?
I just want to thank you for taking on your willingness to the effort and the money and everything else that it takes to run for office, especially at a young age, certainly more younger people to be doing that. Appreciate it, and I think everybody, they do too.
We appreciate you. We need people engaged. So this is a service to the state, just paying attention. So
Thank you guys for coming. I mean, Michael does my websites. He's here from, I never before. Yep, before. Oh, Linda came up, and Karen John are here from Greenfield. Everybody's all over the place that drove in here who care. That means a lot to both of us. And for all of you that are watching. Got it? No other questions, and I'll stop. You guys are welcome to stay afterwards and talk to us. But we'll call it a little early.
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you. How's your foot?
Sore.
Yeah, tired of standing.